أهلا وسهلا وحياكم الله وكل عام وأنتم بخير. اليوم 2 من 3 1446 هجري الموافق يوم الجمعة، وإحنا نقترب إلى أواخر ثواني من اليوم الجمعة. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. As we continue the initiation of a new script that is being divinely regulated in this new age of a unfolding cosmic transition that is physiologically and metaphysically impacting our higher conscious, but because we are subconscious and unconscious, we just cannot read the game. So today, inshallah ta'ala, the topic that was placed is the heavens gift locally, grown universally distributed. Okay. So as we all know, there's no such a thing as nationalism in Islam. Okay. There's nobody that can prove that the Prophet was that Nabi Isa was specifically a Jew, and Nabi Musa was a Israelite, and Nabi Muhammad was a Saudi, and Nabi Dawood was a Ethiopian. There's no such a thing when you and I come to terms with these contracts that all civilizations has a date of expiry on it. Okay, nothing lives forever, right? Now, at a given time, when the heavens, in coordination and cooperation with the queen of the universe, when they call it a day after the contract was defrauded, okay, when a civilization, like say for example, your last civilization was when Allah sent a prophet called Muhammad alayhi wa alihi wasallam. Now, when Muhammad came, he had everything put into place as to how the human beings should be living as souls, not as subjects of a dividing rule. Okay, so Allah sends that inspiration to a man, okay, to a particular person. That person, they will call him Muhammad. Okay, he is to do what? He is to remove the past memory of that civilization. In other words, he will now make claims against how fraudulent those people who had the contract to rule over the masses, over the civilization, how they had defrauded and fraudulently handled and mishandled the Mother Earth, the mothers of the earth, and the children of the earth. Okay, this happens in real time. Many of you are unaware because you are not from the soul tribes, you are from the jinn tribes. So you are unaware how these things work because you are still thinking that you must die. Allah says, Mutu bihartikum. I was giving you the opportunity that you could 5 years ago, you could have relapsed and we could have initiated a new script on a narrative. Okay? So what we are doing as the soul tribes, we are just putting the writing on the wall, basically. Okay? So that nobody can hold us responsible, or in other words, they cannot hold it against us dat julle was nie gewoon nie, julle was nie gesê nie, julle was nie ingelok nie, right? So the handling of when a contract was mishandled, when the people who handled, like the queen of the heavens, of the earth, say queen, say for example, in your people's mind is Queen Elizabeth, that passed on. Okay, now in your minds collectively is she is the highest throne that you know, as far as who sees to the order of the universe. Everybody, all the heads of states respects her. She is the one that opens up the sittings of She actually the crown of England. They own the United Nations. They own it. Okay, they own the most land on planet Earth. Okay, so the way you get to understand their loyalty and royalty makes you believe that God loves them more than they will love your own mothers. Okay, that's what happened in your way of how you are being infatuated, and your psychology was and fraudulently hacked. Okay, so as you now don't question her authority over the chair, yeah, she and the church, right? Okay, the Church of England, as well as the Vatican, as well as London and Columbia is Washington D.C. District of Columbia. Okay, it's 3 states. It's the Thalathatul Ladina Ullifu. Okay, once you round these things up and you come to terms with where the inconsistencies are and how they has played their royalty in a fraudulent way, because you come to discover that royalty is not on the outside, royalty is on the inside. Okay, but when they abuse their reigns, okay, then they would automatically have the contracts in the heavens dismantled. Okay, the contracts will now be challenged and it is up for grabs. Okay. In other words, now this is where Surah Al-Talaq comes in. This is now where Allah Ta'ala speaks about the matriarch age and the patriarch age. Okay. How a patriarch age has the face of a matriarch queen, but she's been run by the Pope and by the church, okay, the Vatican. In your civilization, your highest order in the heavens and in the cosmological order is the Pope, okay. He is higher than your sheikhs, than your Kaabas, than anything else. He is the highest authority, but he puts the system in the face of the queen, but he runs the money magic spell onto the London Bridge. Okay, it's delicate stuff, people. It's very delicate stuff. You will not, most of you will not understand it. Like Allah says, most of you will not believe, right? Because you cannot get to that level of comprehension and perception, right? But we have to. This is an initiation for us. If we don't do it, we don't pass our grades, you see. So we have to put it out in the conscious realm so that it resonates and it can be marinated, okay, into the physical realm, into the manifestation realm, okay. If you knew, you flew, okay. If you know you are in the capacity of claiming and challenging the order, and also you can tell the universe, okay, what is your claim that you are putting on. فَلَا تَعْضُلُوهُنَّ أَيْ يَنْكِحْنَ أَزْوَاجَهُنَّ. Allah Ta'ala says at the end of Surah the second juz, sayaqul, it is not to do with the husband and the wife. فَلَا تَعْضُلُوهُنَّ. It's got to do with the transition and the initiation of a new age and a new narrative and a new level of comprehension of conscious and of divinity. Okay, tribal law, cultural law, moral law, that is profounded in the human genetics. It's there. Which human being is going to sleep with his mother? Which child is going to sleep with his mother? Which culture is going to allow their daughters to be abused? Okay, it's cultures, not law, okay, that allows what we are seeing today. It is the law that allows it, not the culture, people. Okay, the cultured soul tribes, the people that are cultured, they know where they come from, they know their ancestors. Okay, so at a given time, say the reigns yani, of the invasion of the imperialists was about for yani, the British, yani, could say about since the Spanish yani, Inquisition, say at about 1492 when they yani, undiscovered the Americas. Okay, that's the time about where Bartholomew Matthias and Vasco da Gama's yani, came into this part of the world. But you must understand, it is narratives, people. Okay, no one of us knew it. We are only stretching a mind that has not been governed with time into such a zone. Okay, but it's the words that is spelling us into believing that they came for purpose other than to follow up on the contracts that they wanted to yani, hold us to. Okay, so that is how they brought Christianity. That is how they brought Judaism. That is how they brought yani, Sunnism, Shiism. They brought all sorts of things because these were yani, tools that they used in order to violate your contracts. Okay, so when you understand that your contracts was violated, Allah says, وَقَاتِلُوهُمْ حَتَّى لَا تَكُونَ فِتْنَةُ وَيَكُونَ الدِّينُ لِلَّهِ. Okay, so وَقَتُلُوهُمْ حَيْثُ ثَقِفْتُمُوهُمْ وَأَخْرِجُوهُمْ مِنْ حَيْثُ أَخْرَجُوكُمْ وَالْفِتْنَةُ أَشَدُّ مِنَ الْقَتْلِ. You see, these are now when you find that they had fraudulently mishandled the amana. They have given a fraudulent, yani, deceptive, yani, admiral format of how they ruled over the planet. Okay, in your psychology, people, we are speaking about your psychology because we are all living in a universal psychology. Okay, universal conscious. Okay, but it has different compartments. Okay, we were just caught up in a certain narrative of a civilization where we believed our forefathers were slaves. So that automatically makes the current people your rulers. Okay, so because we are colorblind, we think white is the color of your skin, of a color of a human being's skin. People, nobody's white. Yani people are pink and red and blue and yani the colors are very fine, but nobody is ever white. But because it is rhythms that is accurately chosen through the cosmic laws of the seven samawat, okay, the seven universal laws that governs your yani conscious reality. Okay, that's why Allah calls it sab'a samawat. In order for you to come out of this catch of the unknown, okay, that you are not, you don't know what is governing it. How can you know, yani, for example, yani, you know your government besteel vir julle links en alles. Julle weet is die hele land nie. Julle weet alle goed is. Julle weet die mense maak geld uit niks uit. Okay? But you are caught up in that spell. Okay? You can't do anything because you are educated that way. Your conscience has been modeled that way. Your religion has endorsed it that way. You can't yani, uproot yourself from that because you are trapped in that yani, in that reality. Okay? Now, when you awoken, when you find the keys, then you need the seven yani, different modulations in order to escape. Okay? That is now the law of polarity, the laws of abundance, the laws of attraction, the laws of the balancing, the laws of the rhythm, the laws of mentalism. Okay, these are things that you can't find. You can't be a player on the field if you don't know how to put that laws into order and how it is functional. Okay, um, how you become yani, a spark plug basically, because you are energy, you are nur, you are light, you are data, you are conscious. How is these things manipulated? Because you must come to terms with why did you come into earth, why did God put you into a flesh body yani, with a conscious that is projected from a remote outside of the firmament. Okay, why? It was in order for you to learn how to live outside of the third dimension, outside of a temporal dimension. Okay, it was for you to come to terms with how to live balanced in the next stage. The stages don't stop. Okay, if you didn't learn to crack the codes in of the seven hermetic laws and how you balance it out and how do you manipulate the energies in this university of life, how are you going to live with yourself? You got to find self here, guys. Your body is not self. So you got to master in order to understand how to manipulate your way out of the capture, out of the fraud, out of the deception, out of the artificial intelligence. You got to get yourself into a higher realm of perception, okay, and perspectives. Now, as I always say to you all, you all witnessed Yawmul Qiyamah, yani 5 years ago, but the fear, the shaitan brought so much of fear into you that he led you into a darker spell. And now, until today, you could not retain your sovereignty. Okay? Honestly, people, wallahi, thumma wallahi, many of you could not live up to your covenants, okay? Walang kabalang, okay? And therefore, you went and associated more partners to gods, okay? Many of us are mushriks. We are Muslim mushriks, okay? We are Muslim kafirs, Muslim mushriks. It's just how the simulation works, okay? Um, this now is where you now have to come to terms with who did you sign the new contract. Okay. Now your contract is where you put your trust. Okay. You put your trust now in the new because the age came to an end, as you all know, and all these things that has happened in your lives for the last 5 years, because they are not telling you, and you are unaware, you are unconscious, you've been hacked and mismanaged, and you've not awoken, man. Okay, so these people, they handle your gods. Okay, the system is like that. Okay, when you are still stupid and in fact you don't know how you are being distracted. Okay, so they throw in the wars, they bring you out of your house, in order for you to not understand where you should be, and then they keep you occupied and invaded in your sovereignty. So they cast all these spells of wars and blood rituals in order for you to remain in your low form of jinn reality. Okay, jinn means darkness, jannah means light. Okay, so most of you reside in the jinn, faculty of the University of Life. That is the entry level in psychology. Okay, until you can now master the tranquility of the system. Okay, that is what Allah calls the tabut. Okay, that is the sakina. That is where you're going to meet your Dawood. Okay, Dawood basically means what? That you found your sovereignty and that you are connected to your ancestors. وَكَمْ مِنْ فِئَةٍ قَلِيلَةٍ غَلَبَتْ فِئَةً كَثِيرَةً بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. That is Jalut and Goliath, David and Goliath story in the biblical. It's the same, but it's just you. It's just you are under the impression that people rule you. Why? Because you gave them that kind of authority, and they pushed away your organic divine rights, sovereign rights. Okay, and therefore you cannot convince yourself that they are not more greater than Allah, because in your lifestyle contract they are greater than your gods. That's why you submit, and that's why you trust them with your money. You are money. Your conscience is money, but they divert your conscience into physical cash, physical digital currency. That's why they're selling these stupid things now. Pay 4,700 and get 200,000, because they create money out of nothing. But you believe it, you see, and because you believe it, you give it life. And that's why you become an idolater of something that doesn't exist. And that is how you became the mushrikeen of the new age. See. It's a pity. It's a pity that you guys couldn't read the game. I don't guide. I'm not a guide. I'm just here to save the ancestors. That's all. The great Khalifas of the age, hy mense wat so lief is vir Maulud, wat niks ding, hulle het niks, they didn't collect so much money that they had to lose vision. Okay, hulle het blind geword. As hy het gefriet word raak sy blind. Okay, so you can already see who's living in the zina, because when the age close people, what you are holding is riba, because there is now a need to change the currency. Okay, so in order to validate it now, I must now renew my subscription with giving you a new ID, which I call a digital ID. Okay, a digital ID is just in your mind, and it's not on the paper. That on the paper is not real, but he's just keeping you on a certain spiral so that you don't realize that you are being led in the dark. Okay. Now, what when the age comes to an end, when each Aboriginal tribe on earth, if they still have of their clans that can read the game in the heavens. You must read the game in the heavens, because you live in the heavens in your conscious. You are in the summer. You are not on earth, people. When you die, where do you think you are? You're not dying on earth. You're still alive there by Allah, by the universe, there where everything is always happening, when nothing stops. That's where the reality resides. But it is the mislead here. It is the superficial, artificial simulation that you have fallen into, that you think that this is the only reality. Give us die oor verblinder, bros. Okay. You have to understand the game above. That's where the game is played. So the game, die referee het die game 5 jaar gelede afgeblaas. Die planet het gegaan in 'n nuwe upgrade. En daai wie wakker gewees het gedink, wag man, ons gaan vir hulle sommer gou-gou 'n nog 'n skrip gee dat hulle nie kan weet wat gebeur nie. Dan maak ons hulle glo dat dis waar, maar dis alles artificial, dat hulle nie kan uitkom by die aksa nie, that they can lift, upgrade their level of perception. Die aksa is daarbo. Hulle het gelaat hulle glo in iets wat die jinn the dunya is not the real, people. When are you going to come to terms with this? Is artificial. This is not real here. They make you believe it's real, and they give it a religious halal stamp for all the religions. And you believe is sanctified. It's not. You are not real. You've been caught in your grades, yeah. Okay. I so much wish Allah grants us this kind of insight, so that you can come to terms with, soos ou mense gesê het altyd, die wêreld is 'n vernikker, broers. Is 'n oorvernikker. It's how your eyes are censored for seeing things which is real or not real. Okay? So the further you are in the dark, the less you can make out what is real and what is not real. Okay, what is a simulation and what is a divine sabil. Okay, it's in your minds, brothers and sisters. Everything in this earth is only energy. Yani, okay, nothing exists permanently. The only thing that is permanent is God, Allah. That's the only thing. That's the energy where the core of the life of flower is. Okay, that is in the unseen. الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ, man. You have to understand that you must open the door, the eye of the infinite yani, sight. That's your work that you came here to do in earth. Okay? It wasn't to get professorship. It wasn't to get all these accolades because julle is nou baie van die professors is completely blind en dom. Hulle kan nie uitmaak wat aangaan nie. Because hulle weet nie wie hulle is nie. They were misled into yani, a different yani, spell. Okay? When the age closes, you have the right to make qiyam because it's the yawmul qiyam. And then you can put forward the way you see the future that should go through because you're a co-creator in the Supreme Council of Conscious. Okay? Now, you have to come up like Muhammad, like Musa, like Isa. These are all allegories. It's fallible. It's fables. Okay? It's mythologies. It's mythals. You have to use this in order to create and co-create your own story. فَقْصُصِ الْقَصَصِ يعني إِنَّا قَصَصْنَا يعني نَحْنُ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ أَحْسَنَ الْقَصَصِ. You have to remodule a new script built on how you feel on the fitra at the time that there's a new age in circulation, how you want to represent the new spiritual order, because the last time we lost the spiritual reality and we forfeited it for a artificial cosmetic yani synthetic gods. Okay, we created it, people. Your children don't understand psychologically that they are being misled and they are mushrikeen, but they think they are just using words. But it's the big yani, con in the system, in the psychology. Okay? It's all in your Quran. It's all in this Quran. The like Quran. Surah Al-Talaq, yani, where there is a dichotomy. Okay? How long you are given time to reconcile? Do you want to go back again and find? But at this moment in time, we couldn't find a need to go back because the means is, yani, your adversary, your people who has been hosting these sacred yani, spaces, hulle is aan die grootste mushriks at the moment. Hulle is aan die mense wat vir ons try om 'n kop aan te sit in die hele system. They are trying to keep us still yani, blind. Okay? Why must we not use our divine sovereign right and script our own noon wal qalami wa ma yasturun? What was short in our mothers? How did our mothers know our Nabi? Yani, not as a human being, people, as a higher yani, extraterrestrial yani, existence. Okay? They never met your prophet. They never met a physical man because they yani, embraced the mythologies of the dawn of a new age when the past is removed in a narrative, our conscious is upgraded, yani time lapses, and a mad. Okay, therefore they call it madad ya Rasulullah. That's where they came in with these words. Okay, it wasn't shirk. It was to give us an extension to our interpretation of how our mothers, our ancestors had known Allah before the invasion of the colonial scriptures that brought us gods from abroad. Okay? That's why you're always going to be a second-class citizen in that world because you were colonized. Your colon was infiltrated. Okay, once your colon is infiltrated, your kidneys are going to be affected and your liver is going to have to deliver. Okay, that is where the believer comes in, the believer comes in. Okay, if you and I understand what word spells and how we believe in something and how it consciously affects us, just understand what you eat is what you are. What you have and synchronized in accepting information without verifying it, that is how you come to believe, and you are now sunk into that. But our forefathers of the land, mashallah, people, our forefathers were very spiritual people, extremely spiritual people. Why I'm saying this, guys, is that they never used to be able to read the Quran. Hulle kan nie verstaan die Quran. I was a lot with these people, okay? But when I read the Quran today in a higher dimension, of course, not in the on a literal Facebook face value, all right, not literally, okay. If I read between the lines, between the ribs, what is coming from the ancestors now, as to the laws of the universe, the times that is existing, the time lapses, the conscious lanes that is happening, the yani the unseen, basically, okay? What senses we are picking up, okay? What alamat is coming, what ayats is coming into our presence. That's the ayats. You don't see it on the outside. It's not a verse. It's what's unfolding in the reality of the presence of the divine space, okay? Mashallah, tabarakallah. These people actually, for me, the way I interpret it is, they keep this maulud going, yani, and not wanting anybody to know why they planted it into our DNA. Okay? So at the time when their contracts are closed and we have path to apply for our sovereign self-determination, because we knew who the Nabi is, even though we have not met him in our physical need, because they have already given us the connectivity on the DNA of the age when the Muhammad, yani the extension of a new narrative, a new spiritual world, a new mother care, a new mother nature was going to come to the fore. We are on that yani wave in a civilization, consciously, intellectually, and mashallah, they are geniuses. They are geniuses, mashallah. Subhanallah, they did it without people detecting it, people. Yani the United Nations, the Arabs, the Israelis, nobody picked it up. Nobody picked it up. What these people were doing here, giving them a front, hulle weet nie wat hulle doen nie, hulle speel mal. Maar hier is hulle besig om 'n nasie, 'n community, hulle eie sopang kinders van die land, om vir hulle reg te kry to take the reins of self-determination. Okay? Not on a religious narrative, not on a Saudi narrative, not on an Egyptian narrative, on their ancestral narrative, where they come from, in the heavens, people, in the Sama. Okay? Because we come from a soul tribe. We know who we are. We know the laws of the Sama, basically. Okay? So this is also how they recognize us as the moon tribe in the heavens. Okay, the features are well known, and the level of intelligence is also very well known. This knowledge is not for university people. This knowledge is for the it's for the Sama. It's where you're always going to be. It's not for buying and selling. It's for the soul tribe. It comes in order to guide the souls, not the jinn tribes. That's not how this thing works. The jinn tribes believes in religions. They are the goal of a religion to keep the duality in orbit, so that people must remain unconscious. Okay? Human beings cannot guide human beings. What the only way how you're going to survive this kind of perpetual ritual of religious capture is that you have to come to terms with who is your tribe, where is your asl, um, how do you get to exit this perpetual cycle where you continuously have to go and do every year the same thing, because you've been captured. Okay, so as we stand now in a civilization, you can see what the Ruperts are doing and the SABC is doing. They are all supporting this new system because they don't know where this thing is going. They don't know. They're just trying to steal your attention because they've now collapsed your economies. The inflations are up. They've made you feel that the monies that you've been handling now has less value. But what you need to understand is, what does your ancient book tell you about the Joseph age? You are living in that age where there is now a transfer of wealth. Okay, you are there. But because you don't understand and you're not being told what there is that is being exchanged, what is being bartered here, okay, at this time in civilization, you should understand who your tribe is. You should know that if you're going to put your signature on a contract, if you're going to give them that money, if you're going to believe in that, you're going to go back and even worse to where you were as for your next generations, because you put your next generation into generational curses. Okay, those who have awoken and have the exit plan and has submitted it and has appealed their cases, this all happens in the Supreme Council of Conscience. Okay, you have to have a plan and you must respect the laws that governs a dichotomy, a separation, a breakaway. Okay, a parallel deconstruction. Okay, where you break away from the fictional reality and you're now creating your own self-determined Jannah. That's a Jannah that you're now, right? Jannah is where you put on the lights. Jahannam is jinn. Jinnah, Jannah. Same word. Jinnah is just when you are still in the lower self, where most of you are. You must come to terms with the fact that you are not ins, you are jinn. Please. If the quicker you come to that, the quicker you come out of the Jahannam, because the jinn are made of fire. Kana and shaitan kana min al-jinni fafasaka an amri rabbi. So you yourself is the shaitan, but you don't understand how it works. Our forefathers, mashallah, tabarakallah, it's almost iftar time. Really, mashallah, I admire these people in their intelligence and how they played the game of consciousness. Hulle het gelyk die game van dam speel, maar hulle was nie dummy. Hulle was baie slim, mashallah. Is altyd wat 'n mens vir jou is dom. Hou vir jou dom, dat jou enemy nie kan weet hoe slim jy is. En praat min, laat hulle nie kan vir jou uitvang nie. Okay? And mashallah, when I'm now waking up from these spells and seeing how intelligent these people played us to take over, they passed the baton to us physiologically and metaphysically, and when the age, when the lights went off in the in 2020, their lights that they planted and the seeds that they planted in us actually activated. And these are the codes like Maulud. These were the ways how they kept that seeds growing, not te gooi, because these are energies. These are high voltage energies. That's why daai ou manne as hulle in hy Maulud sit, Bruce, subhanallah. It's like you can't it's energy that is like in a great pool of a sea. Okay, how they are keeping that they sail, hoe hou hulle hy sail dat hulle nie kan af aan koers gaan nie. So you guys are sitting on a massive treasure here, the taboo to Sakina, and it looks very much that the ancestors are going to win this game. It looks a lot in that format. Okay, you can't say the future, you can't say it, But the nice part of it, it's very normal, man. Is vir die man wat nie afkyk op 'n nog 'n man nie. As jy 'n man wat dink bitter van homself, hy dink hy is nou die nou kan almal. It's really gonna be for the most very, very humble people. This age is a spiritual age. It's not a materialistic age like the past age, like before COVID. This is a very spiritual age. It's because you are in Jannah, you can build your own Jannah now, because Jannah is a space within a frequency where you resonate with your peace and tranquility after you exited your guilty conscience, your fear mongrels, and your doubt that you placed by yourself. Okay? So in time for iftar now. May Allah give you barakat. Enjoy your evening. Auntie Aziza, Allah love you. Allah love you all. And shukran so much for you. And have a beautiful weekend. Tomorrow we see you inshallah ta'ala at Hajj Na'imas and Maulud bi'idhnillah. Jazakallah for each and everyone. And have a beautiful Mauludun Nabawi for this weekend inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.